Okay, project for the day, we're going to make our 9-69A banjo bolt from the Atlas 10-inch. And we've already done the quick and easy version. Now we're going to do another, actually pretty quick and easy version. Got some 5/8 stock. This is just a piece of scrap I had laying around. We want 2 inches of threaded length, so if we go to about, there we can, that'll give us a good starting point. Now we're going to just face off the end, and then we're going to turn 1.8 inches down to 375. There we go. Let's slow it down a little bit here. I think we'll take one more spring pass across there. We're going to call that good right there. Okay, now before we even change our setup here, we want to define another 2/10 right there on the end. And all we're going to do is make a shallow cut another 2/10 deep on there. The reason being that's where the square will go to position and place in the banjo so it doesn't spin. So what we'll do is I'll just take and make a light skim cut another 2/10 of an inch, and then we'll add a bevel here and go ahead and thread it. Beyond that, I'm not going to do anything else to machine on that other than maybe a light skim cut across the top just to clean that up, although we'll polish that later. I'm not going to part it off here because we'll take it over to the milling machine, we'll cut our 4 flats, and we'll just do that in a collet block. And then once that's done, why, rather than even coming back and parting it, we'll just cut it off in the bandsaw with leaving our head, which is another 1/8 of an inch, or approximately 1/8 of an inch, and then we'll bring it back and part it off, and then it's a done deal. That's our square portion right there. Okay, now before I do that, let's go ahead and define our thread length, which is 1 3/8. That's too far. There's approximately that's where our thread will end. Nothing exact there really, you know, I mean 1 3/8 is where it was threaded to from the factory originally. Anything close in there again, all this is positioning, and that gives us plenty of room. So that's where we want to thread to end. Actually, I suppose we could blue this up just a little bit, just so it's a little bit easier to see. Normally, I don't worry about it a whole lot. So we're all set up. We'll run a scratch pass just to verify that we are where we want to be, got the right thread pitch set up, and make sure our setup's right, and then we can cut these. Try that one more time, just a little bit deeper. Should be a 3/8/16. And we are. It's always a good idea to check your threads. I trust this lathe. I've used it so much, but it's also well worn, so it doesn't hurt at all to go back and check to make sure your thread pitch is right before you start cutting them. Okay, now when you see me cut this stuff, you see me do a lot of just trial fit. And a machinist would take these 2-dimension off of the numbers. As a gunsmith, normally what I do, like if I was rebarreling a rifle or cutting for a muzzle brake, something like that, you are fitting the components together. So if you've already got one threaded component like a receiver, why, you're going to thread that barrel to match the threads in there to get the fit you want. So you see me diddling around a lot with stuff that would be done quite a bit quicker if you were just going to the numbers. So I tend to do even things like this that should go to the numbers. I still tend to do a trial fit on these, a lot of trial fit, and it takes extra time, and it's probably not completely proper for doing things like this. Like I say, it would be done faster and better to just run to the numbers and have everything be right that way. But that's not really what my workflow's ever been, so I tend to just continue doing the way that I know best on these. So I spend a lot more time on cutting little threads like this than you would normally do. But for me, that's what works well. So that's why I do it that way, and that's why I diddle around a lot more with stuff than a lot of guys will. Gotta be quite that tight. I can live with that. By the time we polish that down and hit that with a little bit of emery, there we go. That's what we're after, right there. Now, make sure our collar fits over it. Yep. Then the way it will go once it's fully assembled, it's got a heavy washer on there, and then it's got our nut on there. Okay, perfect. I'm happy with that. Now, we're going to take it out of here, go over and chuck it up in the in a collet block, and we'll turn our little shoulder right there. So nothing real scientific here. All we're doing is taking our flats down on all four sides down to 3/8 of an inch, or approximately 3/8 of an inch. So we're just going to go down and to where we're almost touching our shank, which is 3/8. There's not going to be any real measure in there other than that. Since I don't have a good stop set up on this yet, we're just going to use our, you're going to use our scale and the edge of the vise, edge of that back vise jaw. And we're going down to our face right there. So I think we're actually just going to zero everything out. We'll set our depth, and we're just going to sneak up on all four sides. I'm not going to go full depth with any of them. We're going to basically close down the video. Check so everything looks good. Okay, that's what it looks like to this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it over and pull it out of the collet block. I'm just going to lightly deburr it very quickly. Then I'm going to go and bob it off so we've got some extra material on the head itself. Then we'll go back to the lathe. We'll just chuck up on this, on the front portion there, and we'll face off the front of it and pretty it up a little bit. And that's all there is to these. Okay, well here's what we got so far. And I think for this we've got enough material above the threads that we can just clamp right in our 3-jaw. We just want an 1/8 inch thick head and want a presentable end on it. That's all we're after. And probably the easiest way is we're working off of the DRO, at least the Z-axis here. So we just want about 1/8 of an inch thick. So we're going to call that our 0. Maybe we're going to call that our 0. end up with here? Just do a visual check here. That looks pretty good. We got quite a bit to take off, but I wanted to leave extra material just to be sure. Now I'll still take this over and hit it lightly on the buffer. Hit the head of it. I got a little bit of a nubbin sticking up there, but there again, if you're building these for yourself, you can take the time, you can play, and that's kind of what I've done today. You know, this has actually been kind of enjoyable for me. I spent a whole lot more time screwing around with video stuff, but today's one of those days that I'm not doing anything real important, and other than this, and this is just a relaxing thing, and that's what you should make it when you're building parts for yourself. So, yeah, you can buy the turned down heads off of Fleabay. You know, I showed you in the last video in part 1 of this how to do that quick and dirty little thing. Instead of giving $10 for one, why you can build one for, well, when I checked, they were 59 cents a piece for a standard carriage bolt, and there was some discussion about whether they were threaded or unthreaded, and the unthreaded upper portions are available if you get to looking on the internet. Doesn't make a bit of difference. You know, for a quick and easy project, go to your Ace Hardware, go to your big box store, get you a 3/8/16 carriage bolt that's 2 inches long, and spend 10 or 15 minutes at the lathe, and you've got the same part that you're buying for $10 from the Fleabay sellers. Yeah, I got a nubbin in the center, but you know, we'll polish that up just a little bit more. They go together like that. If they were assembled, your gears would be on here. You got your heavy washer if you put it on the right way, and your nut threads right on. And Bob's your uncle. So that's all there is to it. You know, I've screwed around for an hour and a half here this morning, messing with these. Hour and a half, maybe a little bit more, between doing the video stuff and building the part. And I got to play in the shop a little bit. Now I've also screwed around with this digital readout and played with it a little bit and changed some things on it. I'm going to completely redo the mounting and stuff, but that's another project. So anyway, that's how you can make that yourself. This little collar, you know, we'll probably make 1 or 2 of these just because we can. You know, and there again, down the road, we'll do production runs of some of this stuff. I don't, you know, the process is different. When I set up a turret lathe to run these out, why they're done a little bit differently, and they're cranked out pretty quickly. But this is the way I do it if I was building them here in my own shop for my own use. So you can follow the same procedures and do it. The print that I posted on Patreon is a little bit different than this, a little bit different in thread length and things like that, which is, I don't think it really matters, but the print's just a little bit different, mainly in that thread length. But other than that, why the print's out there. So anyway, hopefully you find this useful, enjoyable. Comments, suggestions, leave them in the comment section for me below, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thanks for taking the time to watch.